Yo, what is going on? PartTimerZack here. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about how I'm going to be getting ready for Fallen Star, and more importantly, how I'm going to be getting ready for Tower of Babel. So like many of you guys, I have been grinding the event. I've been doing a kind of mixture of C1, C2, and C5, you know, getting that currency and getting the memories. And I've really just been hammering on my alpha here and trying to get her as high as I can for BP. But with Tower of Babel, you're actually going to have to use a couple different units, and it's going to be kind of more obvious why these game modes are going to be a little bit more important to have a diversity as far as your team goes. So I wanted to kind of talk about some tips essentially that I've worked on to increase my BP and kind of give you an idea of some stuff that, you know, may seem kind of obvious, but you may have kind of swept under the rug because you've been kind of narrow-minded on the old alpha like I have been myself. So let's just talk real quickly about the obvious ones. You know, you essentially get your memories and equip them. You can go in here and train them. You can get them resonance. You can get them enhanced. You can overclock them, level them up. And that is essentially going to be a very, very fast and very, very efficient way of getting your BP up. But obviously it does cost resources because, again, that is going to be why it's important to start farming the currency in the actual event right now to do the shop kind of stuff, which we'll talk about here in a second. Again, with your weapon here, you want to make sure you have the best weapon that you can, and then make sure to resonate them if you can, and then also doing the enhancements and levels and overclocks and stuff like that is definitely going to help out quite a bit. Now, just talking real quickly though, what I'm going to be starting to do as of today is converting. I have been doing a mixture, like I said, of C1, C2, and then C5, but I'm going to be kind of completely stopping C5 because I'm going to be working really, really hard on getting the currency for the shop. So C1 is going to give you more memories, as you can see, memory enhancers anyway, and this one's going to give you weapon enhancers. So I do recommend whichever one you're kind of going for. If you're working on grabbing your memories, then definitely do C1. If you're working on doing your weapon enhancers, do C2 and then go from there. Now, the reason I'm pivoting to this because the shop is actually full of a lot of mats and a lot of things that you can use, like these boxes and stuff like that. But the main thing that I'm actually going to be working on that I've been kind of holding off to because it costs so much, these EXP pods. So these EXP pods are going to help out quite a bit, especially if you're in these higher levels. You're starting to get to like level 66, level 70. You're starting to get to this point where your constructs just really can't keep up unless you're just putting a massive amount of stuff, because yes, you do get XP towards your units whenever you're doing story and stuff like that, but it does kind of reduce quite a bit, and it's not as much as you'd really like to see. So even jumping in here and just giving you an idea that if I max this, oh, okay, she can't go any further because she's going to be max. So let's use Katarina. We'll go in here. We'll max all these just to give you an idea of how much you really end up needing at the end of the day to even get to a certain pivotal point is going to be quite a bit. So that's why I'm going to be starting to work on these ones, because it's going to help out quite a bit with leveling. And what's tied to leveling is going to be this promotion here. So these ones seem like they're kind of like whatever. Maybe you just kind of go in here whenever it has this little blue tick and you just kind of do it. You don't really care, but it's actually going to be kind of contingent on a couple different things. So you can see that, you know, you have to do a certain part of the story. It will tell you just like it has here, and it will highlight it blue if you've done it. So if you've done it, you completed it, it's good to go. Then there's essentially how it's going to look. Now, if it's grayed out, like you can see over here, obviously I'm not level 65, so it is grayed out and I'm not able to do it. So this is why it's kind of important to start leveling your characters, because you can see that you're getting quite a big stat boost whenever you promote your characters, which is why it's important to go in here and level up your characters. Now, talking about shards and kind of evolving A class to S class is going to be a lot easier because you only need 2 per. Whenever you go into like an S rank, for example, if I have my alpha here, you can see that I actually need 3 per little tick to get going. So to give you an idea of how much it actually boosts your overall stats, if you go into somebody like a Katarina, I'm going from A to S, you can see that it doesn't seem like it's a really like huge jump, but honestly these numbers, even though they seem very small, are very helpful, and it helps out quite a bit in the grand scheme of things. So you're probably wondering, how am I going to be grinding these shards? Maybe you kind of know the gist of essentially how to get some shards. I'm going to show kind of the one that a lot of you guys have been working on probably since day one and maybe don't even realize it, and that is going to be Pain Cage. So every week that you kind of go through here and you check your rankings, you can go into your ranking rewards and you can see what you're going to get. It essentially highlights where you're at, so you know every week, like, hey, I'm at 5 to 10%. I'm going to get 27 of these and I'm going to be able to use them. So you get them at the end of every week, which is why I said it's kind of like a longer thing. But if you've never jumped into this shop, you probably have some saved up just from doing it, because even if you don't participate, you're still at that bottom bracket and you're still getting stuff anyway. So the thing is, you can jump in here and essentially get any shard of any character that you have. So you can't get shards of characters you don't have. Some of them are limited, like the alpha one only has 22 in stock and it does cost 10 per, which is kind of why I give you a little bit of a recommendation here that, you know, if you are working on somebody that is an A rank, for example, my A Katarina, I would rather work on her. She's unlimited essentially, and it only costs 5 per. I know a lot of people would rather get their alpha to SS, but like I said, the diversity is going to be kind of helpful. So you're going to want to get these characters that are A to S, or if you have B live, get her to A essentially, because it's going to help out quite a bit. of your overall team structure, and you can always come back in here and grab them up until the 22 stock. So they're always going to be here and available for you. I just really recommend, because Alpha's already kind of a strong unit. A lot of you guys are probably already been working on her. I know it's really tempting to try to get her to SS, but you're really going to want to get some of these characters that are a little bit lower, you know, the B's or the A's essentially, and you're going to want to get them to S rank characters because it's going to help out quite a bit. So the other way though, if you don't want to grind in here, or you want kind of a more immediate reaction essentially, is you can use stamina. It costs 60 per, and you can only do it for the ones that are essentially in here. So whenever you jump in here, the kind of tricky part is it shows Alpha, but whenever you switch to the challenge, it's going to be Lucia. It's just going to be the B rank there. So do realize that even though it shows Alpha, you're not actually going to get that one. And, you know, just give you a kind of an idea. This one is also going to be the A rank version of Cam. So just to give you kind of a rundown essentially of how that works, if you jump in here and you want your Katarina, you know, if it's on story, I know this is kind of confusing at first. It's on story, you can switch to challenge, run it 2 times, and you get 2 shards. So essentially you run 60, you get 2 shards for it. I know that seems like quite a bit of a conversion there. You're kind of giving up stamina that you could be using on the shop, which I definitely know is very, very important to a lot of you guys, but I do recommend doing it at this point in time, because you're not going to have a gap like I kind of thought you were going to have between the events. It's just going to happen one after the other. So you're going to have to kind of get prepared. Again, you can do this during the event. You know, it's not like you're super time limited, but just to give you an idea of essentially how to go in it. So essentially every single day you can go in here and you can get each tick. So by the time Fallen Star comes out, I will have her to S rank. I will be trying to do other units as well, but just to give you kind of an idea of what I'm going to be doing essentially, and just kind of help you out there. So anyway, guys, I'm going to go ahead and leave it there. Have a good rest of your night, guys. Peace.